Hello, I'm Christine, and today I will be reviewing all the books, movies, and TV shows I have watched these past 2 months. I have not read many books. I have a book coming out, and I've been effectively losing my mind pre-release. As usual, this is the usual. This happened last time. I read 2 books. I have 3 other books open that I'm in the middle of reading, but I haven't finished any of those 3. I finished 2 books. I did watch a lot of TV and movies. I've done that. That's easier. I can do that. I can handle it. I'm broken. I can't even speak. What is a video? Welcome to Stories I Ate this month.
Off the hook, but the phone never rang. Beast on the beats, no claws, no fangs.
Hi, I'm Christine. My new novel, Better Together, is coming out in like 15 days. My new book is called Better Together. This is it. This is a finished copy of Better Together. Lately, to explain what it's about, I've been pitching the 1-sentence line of it's the Parent Trap meets the quarter-life crisis era. Not everyone knows about the quarter-life crisis era. It's a fairly new concept. I think it's come with like the millennial generation and onward because we're not getting married as early, and after college or after high school, when if you don't go to college, you hit this point where you're just like, what is my life? What am I doing with my life? And you just spiral into existential dread a lot. I got past it. Now I'm 30 and I've been spiraling this year a little bit. So I think maybe it comes every 10 years. Sari is going on 19, Jamie's going on 21, and it's hitting them at those ages. But, you know, it hits us all at different times, like I think around the decade marks. Maybe not when you're 10. I don't think I got an existential crisis as I went on into double digits. I was like, I'm 10, cool! It's not about being old. It's more about like, there's life changes. Either you didn't see them coming, or like you just didn't realize the impact that they would have, and like, what does this mean for your future? If you haven't had one yet, it's coming, so I enjoy that. It's rough, but you'll get through it. Both of these characters are going through that. They're also going through like a Parent Trap-like reunion where they haven't seen each other in years. Their parents had a really rough divorce. They don't even talk to each other, and the girls, one went with her dad and lived with her father, one lived with her mother. They've been on separate coasts for 14 years. They end up at the same yoga rediscover yourself retreat. Super fun. And then they switch places, which is even more fun, and then other shit happens. There's a lot of family dramas, a lot of cum, a lot of hijinks, and both girls have a romance line. I hope you like it. I really, really hope you like it. I really, really had a lot of fun writing it, and I also really, really struggled writing it. It was best of both worlds during quarantine while I was revising this over and over again. There's really, really fun moments, and also there's more dramatic moments because there's a lot of messed up family dynamics, which was really rewarding to write, also really hard to write, and then all the romance stuff was always my favorite to write. It's different. It's different from Again But Better. It's what I needed to write after writing such a fun, happy book. I wanted to take a hard turn and try something different. Not to say that this isn't fun and happy, because there's a lot of fun and happy stuff. When I think I'm going dark, I'm going like a little bit darker. Like the characters are more flawed and they have more growing to do and different types of growing. Like if I was gonna give like both girls a theme song as we intro into the book, I would put on Julia Michaels. I got issues. You got them too.
I got issues, but you got them too. So give them all to me and I'll give mine to you.
This is the theme song. There's an underlying understanding that we all have issues, and what you perceive as sometimes like stuff that makes people unlikable when you're seeing their vulnerable, honest headspaces are things that we all experience and maybe don't share. We all have to eventually work through that shit, and it's their journey working through it, working through their issues with each other, with their parents, with loving themselves and loving others. That's the deep end of it, and the fun end of it is like falling in love, planning all this tomfoolery, getting to know each other as sisters, walking in each other's shoes. I really wanted to explore these different qualities. The people who really related to Shane might not relate to them in the same ways. You know, like you could always find something that you relate to because we all have similar issues. Like if you really strongly related to that, you're probably going to relate differently to these characters. Maybe it'll take a little bit of time to feel like you understand them, but I think you'll get there. I think it's all part of the journey. That's the beauty of flawed characters. You get to really ride this journey with them. I'm going on and on about my new book, but like it's coming and I'm really excited to share it with you, and I really hope you enjoy it. And why am I holding my phone under my armpit this whole time? When did I do this? If you haven't pre-ordered a copy yet, it's still available for pre-order. It comes out June 1st, and there's going to be a virtual tour. If I've announced that already, I'll link it in the description. I'm so excited to talk more about it. You guys, I'm so excited. Now that we're past that, let's talk about one of the books I read this month. I loved both of the books I read this month. I don't think I would have gotten through a book if I didn't love it as much as I did. The Sky Blues was our book explosion. April book of the month. We were working with Simon & Schuster. I loved this story so much. It brought me all of the joy. The Sky Blues is about a gay teenager in high school named Sky. He's out, but in his small town, it's just much easier to kind of lay low and take that invisible route in high school. But it's his senior year, and he decides, you know what? I'm gonna go all out and ask my crush to prom in the gayest way possible, and it's gonna be grand. And he has all these proposal plans, but then they're leaked by this homophobic douche kid. And Sky is mortified, of course. Anyone would be mortified. Like, when you read this and you're there with him when it happens. I talked about this in our Book Explosion live show, but I was walking Bellamy and I just like stopped and started crying. I was so upset for him. But his classmates are also supportive of him, and they come together to help him track down this hacker and expose him. It's all about the ride here. The characters are all so great. It's just got a great cast. There's so many moments that just make your heart go, it's just, I love the romance running through it. I love the crush that he has and how that story arc goes. I love his best friend. I love all of his best friends. I love his core group. I got so much joy out of reading The Sky Blues. You should definitely pick it up if you haven't yet. I did the audiobook, which was excellent. Great audiobook narrator. I think I've heard this narrator do other things because he sounded familiar, and he's really, really great. Definitely, if you can't read it with your eyes, do the audiobook. Both books I read this month were audiobooks, and both of them were excellent. Excellent narrators, excellent stories, excellent storytelling. I just can't recommend them enough. I'm an Audible affiliate. If you use my link in the description, you can get your first audiobook for free. John just did that. He's listening to the other book that I just read, which I will share with you soon. I loved it. I'm just really excited that I'm getting to talk about it with him because he's listening to a little bit every day. This was our Book Explosion book of the month. We have a live show where we talk about it. It was a really fun live show too, so I'll link that in the description below. It's on the Book Explosion YouTube channel. We are a book club that does book discussions with you guys live every month. We take questions, we do fun discussions. You can subscribe to the Book Explosion channel if you want to be involved with that, or Instagram and Twitter, and that's where we announce what we're reading. This month we're reading Happily Ever Afters by Elise Bryant. It's super cute. It's about a 16-year-old girl who wants to be a romance writer, and she falls into her own romance. I'm on page like 60 of that one right now. It's great so far. Let's get into some TV and movies. I got sucked into The Circle. I didn't think I would ever watch The Circle, but then I had food poisoning and I was stuck in bed and I didn't have anything to binge and I couldn't really like concentrate fully, so I put on The Circle because this new season had just dropped. And then before you know it, I was invested and I had favorite players. I loved Trevor and Courtney. I was invested. I had to watch. I had to know what happened. So then I watched like the first 4 episodes and then realized they were releasing like 3 episodes every week, and I had to wait. Every midnight when they dropped, I was like, oh my god, more Circle episodes. Oh my god. Oh. I was so happy with who won. Just got so much enjoyment out of it. It was one of those TV shows that really helped me turn off my brain and just like enjoy it for what it was. Like when they pulled that little twist with the character John who came back, I just had the best time. Like it was just the type of mischief that I love. So I'll be watching The Circle probably from now on. I might go back and watch season 1. I don't know. And I'm gonna give this season like an A-. I really enjoyed it. It was stupid, but like I also loved it. I got a similar feeling to that one time I watched The Bachelor and then The Bachelor in Paradise. Like it just let me turn off my brain. I love non-stupid TV, but sometimes you just want something stupid. Gosh, we haven't talked in a while. Like I watched a lot of shit. I watched the Snyder Cut. I can't believe I watched the Snyder Cut, but of course John was so excited for the Snyder Cut. I watched it with him, and it was actually like way, way, way better than Justice League. So I continued watching it with him. I watched all the parts. I watched all the way to the end, and all the way up until the final big battle scene. I was like, wow, I actually think this is pretty decent. And then the big moment for Flash happened, and then there were like 6 endings to the movie. Like the movie just kept ending over and over again, and I was getting like more and more off board. Like I was on board, and then I just kept slipping and slipping and slipping, and then by like the 3rd epilogue, I was like, no, I don't like this anymore. Wouldn't just be done, please. Leave me. It'd be done. It's crazy how different it is, though. All of the character development that was missing in the first one, like, you get it. It was there. there. He set stuff up for the characters that we didn't know at all. They didn't just appear out of nowhere. So I think I'll give it a B-, C+. I'm like in between the two of them. Like it would have gone a solid B, maybe even a B+, if not for like the 50 endings and the thing with Flash that I really was like, he could have done this. I didn't feel emotional about it at all. John thinks it was a great moment. So a lot of people disagree with me, but I was like, I watched all of the Oscar films except for The Sound of Metal, but I got through all of the rest. So we'll do like a quick fire round here. Minari was great. It was sad, but it was also adorable. And I love that while I was watching it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is the person who wrote this movie. And that was the person who wrote the movie. I called it in the beginning, and then it was, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love that. Like, I love when I could pick the writer out in a story, and it just makes me feel closer to the story. Minari, I'm gonna give it an A- because I did get really sad at parts. Then we got The Trial of the Chicago 7, which was an Aaron Sorkin film. This film got really depressing and upsetting. It very much mirrors a lot of the stuff that we've been going through as a country in the past year. In a lot of moments, I got very, very upset and frustrated and sad because this has been going on for so long. It was also really well done and really well acted. I mean, I'm gonna give it an A-. I can't give it an A because I didn't like love it. And also the end, I think didn't actually end the way that it ended in real life because Aaron Sorkin wanted to give it like a little bit of an uplifting ending. I watched Judas and the Black Messiah. This was a fantastic story. It was so well acted. It was also like upsetting. Again, a lot of these movies are like very upsetting. The only thing I didn't like about this film was the way it was shot, like the way it was directed or cut. It was irritating me. There was just a lot of edits and a lot of movement in the camera work all the time. And it's like, just stop for a second, just stop. That is always like a pet peeve of mine with movies. If the camera doesn't stop moving, I'm like, oh my God, put it on a tripod. Just put it on a tripod, please. Just let me watch for a second. I'm gonna give it a B+ because the directing / editing was pissing me off, but everything else was really great. Very important story to just be aware of, and in our history, all the Oscar movies were very upsetting. Except for, I want to say except for A Promising Young Woman, it was upsetting, but it just had a more upbeat tone. Like, it was upsetting with an upbeat song in the background. She got the last laugh, which made it feel a little less upsetting, and that's why that one was probably my favorite Oscar movie. It's almost, I think it's tied with Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, which I really loved, and I was really upset that Chad didn't win the Oscar because he was phenomenal in that role. So was Viola Davis. Oh my gosh, I thought she was a shoo-in for winning. By the way, the Oscars were the most boring Oscar ceremony I've ever seen in my life this year. Like, I know it was COVID, but it was like everyone was flatlining in terms of excitement and in terms of like entertainment value. Like, there was no host, there's no laughter. Like, it was just terrible. I'm gonna give the actual Oscar ceremony like a D this year. It's gotten really boring since there's been no host, but it was extra boring this year. Anyway, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom was absolutely excellent. It takes place on one day in one place. The costume is excellent. The acting is excellent. All the actors are so charming. There was an upsetting undertone to the whole ordeal that happened, but it didn't feel as melancholy as a lot of the other films this year. And I'm not saying melancholy makes a film bad. You know, when you watch sad film after sad film after sad film, it starts to really wear on you. But Ma Rainey's Black Bottom like had, again, like an upbeat undertone, and while it did end up being a sad film, the experience of watching it had a lot of joyous moments, and a lot of moments where just like I was blown away by the acting, by the music. It's on Netflix. It's really easy to watch. I'm gonna give that one actually an A+. I watched Ready or Not this past month, which was very fun and way less scary than I thought it was gonna be. This is the film with Adam Brody about a family that owns a board game company, and when you marry into their family, you have to play a game. You pick out of a card deck what game you're gonna play, and if you play hide and seek, the family has to murder that person before dawn. Like, that's their tradition. They have to murder the new family member, like bride or groom or whoever's marrying in. Obviously, the bride has no idea that this is happening. She goes to hide for hide and seek, and then they're hunting her in the house. It's a fun time, a thriller time, you know, like with violence, but it's a fun time. I'd give it an A-. I watched Godzilla vs. Kong because, of course, John was very excited about this movie. I watched it. Maybe I'll give it like a C+, because I thought it was better than the previous Godzilla. It was what it was supposed to be. I think John wasn't as happy with it because he didn't like the fights as much. Godzilla was too lizardy. I was like, it's a dinosaur fighting a Giant gorilla. I watched the new SpongeBob movie. John really wanted to watch this as well one night when we just wanted to watch something mindless. We had to turn it off because it was very bad. Like, I loved SpongeBob. This was very lowbrow SpongeBob. The humor was just so shallow. It felt like it was for young children. And of course, SpongeBob is for children, but it's also for everyone. That's the beauty of SpongeBob. Like, there's a lot of adult jokes slipped in there. There's a lot of humor that's for everybody. We got very bored. So much Keanu Reeves is a tumbleweed, and I was like, this is not funny. The other book that I read this month was Andy Weir's new novel, Project Hail Mary, and I loved it. I was obsessed with it. I listened to it on audio. Before you knew it, I had 3 hours left on it. I think I finished it in 3 days. Every second I wanted to go back to listening to it, so I just made excuses to like go on car rides or go on extra walks or like do chores around the house instead of doing my work because I could pop in my audiobook. It was so good. If you like The Martian, you're probably gonna like Project Hail Mary. Like, Andy Weir really excels at man being alone in very extreme life or death situations in space. I feel like that's all you need to really understand if you're gonna like this or not. It is another astronaut. This time he's trying to save Earth from an apocalyptic situation that's going on. There's a lot of science stuff. I love science stuff. I love learning with them. I love our lead trying to get out of these like extreme, again, life or death situations and having to science his way out of it. I love watching Mark Watney science shit, and I loved watching Ryland Grace science shit in space. It was grand. And our lead character, he's a scientist that ended up becoming a school teacher because of some stuff that happened in his career. He's got this like school teacher scientist voice, which is super fun. I loved it so much. And the last thing I watched this month was the new film on Netflix called Stowaway with Anna Kendrick and also Jin from Lost. He says the name Michael once in this movie, and I was like, oh my god, I'm back in Lost. Michael! I know Jin's name and I'm blanking on it. Daniel Day Kim. This is a very character-driven storyline, and of course I wanted to watch it because I was reading Project Hail Mary and that was in space, and it's also very character-driven. I want to watch Project Hail Mary. Like, I want to watch the movie now. I want to see it. The story's been in my mind since I read it, and I read it like 2 weeks ago now. I was really feeling space stories, and Stowaway is a story about this team going on this mission to Mars. Someone ends up stowed away on their ship and they don't have enough resources for all 4 of them, so they have to science their way around death. I enjoyed Stowaway. I think it was really good. It just had a really abrupt end. I wish I had like 1 or 2 more scenes. I think I'll give Stowaway a B+. It's really nice to just go on Netflix and have a good movie sitting there to watch. I just wish it had an epilogue. Wow, it actually feels like I didn't watch and read that much stuff this month. I mean, I didn't read that much stuff this month, but it feels like I watched less than I thought I watched because I watched a lot of like rewatched things, comfort watches to try to like dull my anxiety. I'd love to hear your favorite thing that you watched or read this month. If you have any recommendations, drop them in the comments. My book is coming out so fucking soon. Links to everything related to Better Together are in the description below. Links to the books I talked about are in the description below. All the links are in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Christine. I'm @XTeenMay on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok. I make TikToks now sometimes. I'm proud of myself. I have like 6 now. Or 7. I'm working my way up to like an actual TikTok profile. Like 7. I'm getting there, right? Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye!